And welcome back. My name's John, and thank you for joining me once again to episode 3 of my podcast series. It's been so much fun doing it so far. We've been talking a lot about school, and I see no reason why not to continue this awesome topic. So I want to talk a bit more about education, starting out with a quote from Mark Twain. I believe it's Mark Twain, who said, "I never let my schooling interfere with my education." Now, what could he possibly mean by that, considering that I thought school was where you got an education, right? Isn't that what we're always told? Well, apparently, this doesn't seem much to be the case anymore, at least not the useful, practical education that actually gets us where we want to be in terms of our life goals, financial goals, and achieving our dreams. Seems that the education we get in school is becoming more and more not adequate enough to prepare us for this high-tech social media entrepreneurship age, and it seems to be behind quite a bit. And so we need to be redefining what it means to be educated and in relation to going to school. Just because you went to school doesn't mean you're educated, or at least not educated in all the relatively right things, at least from certain points of view. Now, with that being said, obviously there are many things that we can learn in school, but it seems to be a lot of things that we also should learn but don't learn in school. I talked about this in my previous episode 2, just lots of really simple life things that you should know how to do but don't, such as cooking, sewing, basic financial management, budgeting, things, and stress relief skills and things like that. So I wanted to help us sort of redefine what an education means. That way we could sort of get a new mindset and go about empowering ourselves through the acquisition of new skills that will actually be beneficial to us on top of our regular schooling. I know Elon Musk said, "I didn't go to Harvard, but the people who work for me did." So clearly it's not about where you go to school or what school you go to. It's really about the kind of work that you're willing to put into yourself in order to get to where you want to be. With that being said, education is a massive investment that everyone should do and invest in, but unfortunately it seems that people think that education is synonymous with school, and thus once they graduate school for the last time, they stop learning, at least by a significant amount. And when you stop learning, you drastically cut off your potential for growth, or at least you won't grow as fast if you're not learning anything. And I really want us to focus, make a separation between education and schooling, in terms that the schooling is your teacher's problem. They will school you on the things that the institution thinks is relevant, which, as we all know, probably isn't as relevant as it ought to be. And but our education is our responsibility, and it's your responsibility to seek out the knowledge that you need to become successful and to make your dreams come true. It is your responsibility to educate yourself in a way that is practical and relevant to what you want to do with your life. Not your teachers, not the government, not the institutions. It's your responsibility. Because at the end of the day, the only person who can ever really fully have your best interests in mind is you. And that comes with a lot of self-discovery and self-realization, obviously, but you need to take control of your education. If that means taking extra classes or taking online courses or watching YouTube videos to make sure that you're learning something that's relative to you and your dream outside of school, then you got to do, what you got to do, because school doesn't seem to be preparing us all for the coming digital age. And so to say that, as we talked about in my first episode, that getting straight A's in some institutional school is going to provide you the best knowledge and means to, make it and achieve your dreams might not be totally accurate. And so, I really just want to hone in and focus and press that you need to make a differentiation. How do you use the word? You need to have a mental difference between what you learn at school and what you're actually trying to learn in terms of self-improvement, because the best thing you can do for yourself is to never stop learning. You can see I have lots of books here. A lot of them are fiction, but a lot of them are educational as well. And I've made it my life's goal to never stop learning. Learning is the one thing that I will never retire from. I might retire from work. I might retire from a certain service or certain hobby. I should never want to retire from learning, because that's the one thing that I can always do to seek out and explore and find new life and understanding things that I didn't know before. Because there's so much in the universe that we can explore and learn. And the more you learn, the more you discover in life. It just adds so much vibrance to my life, at least, to know that I'm discovering new things that I didn't know before. And so I would really encourage all of you to do that as well. There's very simple things you can do to start. You can get an Audible membership and just listen to educational books there. You can do a more pricey version and get MentorBox, or you can just use Google and YouTube and just start learning about things that are particularly interesting to you. And maybe you'll discover something that leads you into a very fulfilling hobby, or maybe even a very fulfilling career. But you won't discover those things unless you take your education seriously and you take full 100% responsibility for how well you do in life and the amount of work you're willing to do in order to get to your destination that you want to get to, and to continue that work and that slope and never stop learning. Just say, okay, I'm graduated, I'm done, I'm going to watch anime for all of my free time for the rest of my life. You're not going to achieve much if you do that. So really really get it into your mind that, the schooling will come and go, but education never stops. You should never stop learning, because education is how you, continually develop and move up and move higher up and achieve the skills that you need to do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to start a new company, well, you're going to have to learn and stuff. Like for me, I wanted to start this YouTube channel, and I have to continue learning. Like this podcast series is educational for me in and of itself. I started it because I wanted to learn how to do podcasts. And I started podcasting before I even knew how to podcast. And I've already learned so much about myself and what it takes. And this is only the 3rd episode. So I would really encourage everyone to make a huge separation in your mind between schooling and education. Schooling is the thing that the institution puts you through, and you learn some things, but education, that's on you. That's your responsibility, and you need to ruthlessly attack it and take as much knowledge and put in as much effort as you can into acquiring the knowledge that you personally need. Not the stuff that some textbook says you should know. No, the knowledge that you need, that's relevant to you, that's practical for you in your life, that will help you achieve your dreams. That's what your education should primarily be focused for. And so, with all that being said, I don't want to ramble too much. I think I've made my point very, very clear. Education, not the same as schooling. Schooling will end. Education never will. And it's your responsibility to use it as a tool to make your life better. And so with all that being said, thank you so much for listening or watching if you're here with me on YouTube. I very much appreciate it. I will continue to make these for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. With all that being said, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you next time.